All right, welcome. In our last video, we were able to conditionally render a sign out button, okay? But as at now, currently, if you click on the sign out button, nothing is going to happen. So as it is now, if we want to sign out, we need to manually delete our session ID, our session from the cookie. But this is not a desired behavior because it is not possible that you are going to create a web app and you're expecting your user to be manually deleting their session from their cookie storage. Okay, so in this video, we'll be handling signing out our user programmatically. Anytime the user clicks on the sign out button, then we are going to be signing them out. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go to our logout button. Okay, that is the name of the sign out button. That is the name we gave to it. All right, so we are going to be creating an event handler, and on click event handler. So I'm going to have on click here, on click. Okay, so we're going to be passing a function, and then we're going to call the function undo log out. That is going to be the name of the function that is going to be handling our user log out. Okay, so here we're going to create the function. It's going to be an async function. All right, so we're going to have function. The name is going to be undo log out, undo log out. Okay, it's not accepting any parameter. And now we are going to first off, we are going to be setting the spending to be true to signify that the user sign out is ongoing. Okay, so here we are going to have a try catch block. Okay, and we're also going to have a finally block. In the finally part, after everything has finished executing, then we are going to be setting the pending to false. We are going to be resetting our loading state. Okay, so during signing out, we are going to be disabling our button. So anytime the user is currently signing out, the button will be disabled, so that I'm going to pass his pending to this, so that the user don't have to click on the button just more than once. Okay, so inside of the try part of the try catch block, first off, we are going to call our server action, our logout server action. We're going to be creating the server action in a moment, so we're going to await it. It's going to be an asynchronous function. We're going to call the server action logout. Okay, so after executing the function, the server action, we're going to check if the logout was successful. So if it is not successful, we're going to be success. If it is not successful, we're going to be displaying a toast to our user to tell them that their sign out was not successful. I'm going to have toast.error. So I'm going to say error logging out, or let's say error signing out. Okay, so we can say try again. All right, so that's that for that. In the catch block, we're going to be handling any possible error, but first off, we're going to check if the error is an instance of error. Okay, if it is an instance of error, then we are going to check if it is a redirect error. Okay, so we're going to check that. We're going to have error.message.includes. Okay, we're going to have next redirect, because on a successful sign out, we have our next redirect. Next, on a successful sign out, we are going to be redirecting the user back to the sign in page. Okay, so anytime the user is redirecting from the server action, it's going to emit an error, and it's going to be carrying next redirect as part of the error message. Okay, so if it is a redirect error from the server action, we're not going to do anything. Okay, it's an expected behavior. But if it is not a redirect error, then we're going to be displaying a toast to our user, telling them that an error occurred while signing out. So we can just copy this text, okay, to tell the user that there was an error while you were trying to sign out. Okay, so that's that for the logout handling. Okay, so next, now we're going to be creating the logout server action. So to create that, we're going to go to our actions directory. Inside of this auth directory, we're going to create a file, and then we're going to call it logout.ts. So to mark this as a server action file, we're going to have use server. Okay, so here we're going to be exporting default, then we have a sync function. Okay, we're going to call the name logout. It's not expecting any parameter. So inside of the logout, we are going to be okay, the whole logout process, let me just say this in a bit. The whole logout process just consists of two major parts. The first part is to delete the session from our Redis database, okay, and the second part is to delete the session from our user browser, from the cookie storage in our user browser. So that's all about the logout procedure. You delete the session from your database that is storing all available sessions in your application. Then you also remove the cookie from your user browser. Okay, so that's all we want to do in the logout server action. Okay, but we are going to be doing that in a dedicated function that we are going to call remove session. Okay, we could have just written all of the logic out in this server action, but I want us to have separation of concerns. Everything that has to do with session, I want us to undo it in this session file. Okay, so we're going to go to the session file. Here we're going to create a sync function. Okay, so we're going to call this remove session. All right, it's not accepting any parameter, and inside of this function, the first thing we're going to be doing is to get the session ID of the user that we want to sign out. Okay, and to get the session ID, we need to access it from the cookie store. Okay, so we're going to have first cookie store. We're going to create a variable called cookie store. Then we're going to get it through the cookies function cookies. Okay, so we invoke that. That's going to get us all the cookies that is available on the request. Okay, so we're going to have the session ID. Okay, not that session ID. Okay, so we are going to have cookie store. Okay, dot get, and then we're going to pass the cookie key. Okay, so that is the cookie session key. All right, so if it is available in the cookie store, then we're just going to grab the value. Okay, now next we need to delete the session from our Redis database. Okay, but to delete that, we need to first check if session ID is true. Okay, because it is possible that it is undefined. If there is no available session in the cookie store. Okay, so we're going to check if session ID is actually available. So if it is available, then we are going to be making a delete call to our Redis database. So we're going to have Redis client dot delete. Okay, so we are going to be passing the key of our session that is going to be based off session. Okay, and then we have our session ID. All right, so that's going to delete the session from our Redis database, and after deleting the session, we also need to delete the cookie from the user's browser. Okay, so to do that, we're just going to have a cookie store dot delete. Okay, then we're going to pass the cookie key. Okay, so that's all about logging out. As simple as that. You delete it from your Redis database, and you also delete it from the user's browser. So we need to export this function so that we'll be able to use it in our server action. I'm going to save that. So we go back to our logout server action. We need to import this function. Okay, but don't forget that this is an async function, and we did not perform any error handling. There's the possibility that there can be network error when performing this call. Okay, so we need to wrap this function in a try catch block, but since it is just a single asynchronous operation, we're going to be using custom try catch wrapper. So we need to import that. Then I'm going to pass this as callback function to try catch wrapper. Okay, so here we're going to check if there was an error while logging the user out. So we're going to have our array. We don't need the first result, but we need the second result, which we are going to call remove our session error. Okay, we need to have a equal sign here. So here we're going to check if remove session error is true. That means there was an error while signing out our user. Then we are going to return false. Okay, that is telling our client that the signing out process was not successful. But if there is no error, that means it is successful. Then we are just going to redirect the user right from the server to the sign in page. Okay, so we need to import our redirect function. All right, and then we're going to pass sign in. Okay, so we have sign in. Okay, So we're going to save that. All right. So go back to our client component. Then we need to import this function. Okay. Hope we actually marked this with use server. All right. And our session file, I hope we marked it with server only. Okay. So that's about that. That's all about signing out our user. Okay. We've passed the function to the event handler, and we've passed the state to the disabled attribute. Okay, so now let's test out signing out. All right, so everything is supposed to work. Now I'm going to click on this. Okay, so our user is currently being signed out. Okay, so you can see now that after a successful sign out, we are directed to the sign in page. Okay, so now I'm going to check my cookie storage. If the session key is still available in the storage, you can see now that we do not have any session ID in the cookie storage. If we sign in again, let's try signing. Okay, I'm going to provide my password. All right, so you can see on a successful sign in, we have our session ID, which will also be available in our Redis database. Okay, so on sign out, the ID is going to be deleted from our database, and it is also deleted from the user browser. So that's all about the process of signing out, and that'll be all for this video. Don't forget to give this video a like, and please subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.